When I first got into sales, I was as green as they come. And yet, the thing that kept me going most of the time is I had a very high level of enthusiasm because I remembered somebody else succeeding when they were told they wouldn't. And the important thing here, I would go through highs and lows just like any other salesman that's new to the game. And all of a sudden, I had this man walk up to me that turned out to be a mentor in the end. But he said, "Young man, I've watched you go up, I've watched you go down, I've watched you achieve a little bit, but nowhere near your potential. Now, I want to ask 3 questions of you. How hungry are you?" And I thought, it's not lunchtime. I'm not hungry. And he realized that I was stumbling with this. "No, how hungry to succeed are you?" I didn't quite get it. Are you driven to be successful? And with that, I said, of course I am. Everybody is. And then he said, "I want you to take your goal list out of your wallet and read it to me." And you could have knocked me over with a feather. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. I said, "Les, I've got goals. I know what I need to do. I know what I want to do." And he told me, unless you've planned your goal, and unless you've written it out, and unless you read that goal many times a day, preferably first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and many times during the day, you don't have a goal. You just have a wish list. And with that, I didn't know what to do. And his third question knocked me out even further. He said to me, "Are you prepared to work harder? And are you prepared to work longer in order to be successful?" I said, "What are you talking about? I work hard now." "Do you go home and study? Do you prepare your goals? Do you prepare your workload the night before so that you can fulfill it?" I really didn't know what he was talking about. And he said to me, "You and I will have this conversation again in a few days' time when you get your act together, but I want to teach you something about luck in between. Do you understand how to spell luck?" And I said, "Of course I do. L-U-C-K. He said, "You got it wrong again. The only way you can spell luck is W-O-R-K, because the harder you work, the luckier you'll get. Never forget that." And you know what? Many of us have heard that same phrase over and over throughout our lives, but the penny hasn't dropped. And personally, I want to see your penny drop so that you can work out how to get luck back into your business, into your life, into your selling. It's called W-O-R-K. If you work at it, they'll tell you, "Gee, you've been lucky." And I've heard that countless times throughout my life, and you deserve to hear that too. What an interesting video this turned out to be. A video there was no script for, a video there were no bullet points for, and all I wrote down was just one line. Share something special from when you started selling. That made me think, and the first thing that I thought of when I started writing things on paper was the 3 questions that I was asked very early in my sales career. Questions that I'm sure if newbies were asked today, they'd struggle giving answers to as well. And they were so profound in the way that my selling grew. Now you notice that my conversation very quickly moved from the 3 questions into goal setting, because that's another massive lesson I learned. I didn't understand that goals had to be written down. I didn't understand the format that they had to follow. Because later on in this series of training videos, I want to spend time teaching you about goals, what's necessary to set a goal, and the way you should go about setting it so that the goal keeps on growing and pulling you along with it. Such an important issue. And the last point that I want to bring up here is the factor of luck. So many people believe in luck, especially those in selling. Well, I'm going to tell you something. the only way that I know how to spell luck is W-O-R-K. I was taught that also very early in my selling career, and it stayed with me ever since. Because everybody I know in sales that succeeds makes the most of their working day. They don't sit around drinking coffee, having chats. They get on with it and work. And because of that, so many people will say to you, wow, haven't you been lucky? I've heard that a million times in my life, and I'd like you to hear that as well because it's such an important issue. Now, I want to share a real passion of mine, and it's a subject called goal setting. Now, most of us understand goal setting. We do a pretty good job setting goals, and as far as we're concerned, we reach most of our goals. Well, what if I took your goal setting to another level? A level above the level that you thought goal setting should be at. Because you've noticed some people really set goals. And I actually worked with a guy for a while, and all he used to do was to ponder on what he wanted to achieve for that week, for that month, that year. And all I saw him do is pick up a piece of paper and put a figure on it. Then his eyebrows would go up a little, his eyes sometimes would roll in his head, and he'd go, yep, and then write down the date of when he needed to achieve that goal. And he was so accurate in the way that he set goals, I just couldn't believe it. Now, I'm talking more than 40 years ago, I'm observing this type of behavior in a person. And I thought, there's got to be more to goal setting than I believe there is. I learned how to set goals, I learned how to write them down, but there's a lot more to them. I'll share bit by bit, just that little bit more, until you can visualize your goals to such an extent that the goal will not dare not manifest. How would you like that? Well, it's true. And with most goals, when you set them, you should be able to set them in such a way that you actually overachieve. That's right. Not only achieve the goal, but achieve something way over the top of what you expected to achieve in the first place. And once you can get your goal setting to that level, can you imagine how much extra business you'll write? Well, that's the journey that I want to take you on now, and it'll culminate in you knowing the way that I've set goals to achieve sales records other people can only dream of. And in fact, you've got to remember that at one stage, I too could only dream of achieving those goals. But when you do it year by year by year, and you achieve beyond anything anybody could imagine, you know you've started getting your act together. And that's precisely the level that I want to bring you in your goal setting as well. And you'll come to the understanding that goals are such a crucial part of your life and your lifestyle, you'll dare not set them, not read them out aloud, and not work and meditate on them, because they're the crucial areas that'll get you far beyond anything you may have expected in your goals.